So hello guys, welcome to the Angular 8 mediator level training session number 5, and in this session we are going to see about introduction to JSON blob and the methods that are used in we can use into JSON blob thing. So let's continue with the today's session. So before going to the JSON blob thing, I got some reviews from you guys that you want to know about the observable and the subscriber things. So I'll explain that thing in details. So observable and subscriber, let's understand this concept by taking an example, right? So let's take a simple example of TV service provider or TV channel provider, right? So what a TV channel provider will do is it will just broadcast the television or the shows, and the customers that are subscribed to that channel or subscribed to that shows will get the events or will get that episode or the television uh, what are broadcasted on that television channel, right? So in this case so the TV channel provider will be a observable, and the customers that are watching that channel will be subscriber for that, right? So the events or the episodes that are broadcasted by the TV channel will be subscribed by or will be viewed by that customers. So in this case the channel provider will be the observable, and the customers that are watching that TV shows will be subscriber, right? So observable and subscriber are part of RxJS. RxJS will which is the reactive JS library, which is basically used for handling the change in data events, right? So what the RxJS do is it watches on the data changes. So whenever the data will get changed, so it will fire a event to its subscribers, right? So suppose if you are having a data for suppose if you are having a data in which you have 3 records. So now when you get this data from asynchronous request, so what a observable will do is, so uh, the observable will send that data to all the subscribers that are subscribed to this data, right? So currently you are having 3 records into the data. So what the observable will do, observable will send this data to all the subscribers, right? And suppose if you got change into that data, right, if it is reduced or if it is increased or any change into data, so whenever there is any change in that data, so observable will send the data event in which all the subscribers will get the updated data, right? So this is the concept where we use observable and subscribers, and basically these observable and subscribers are used to handle asynchronous request, right? So as we have seen what is asynchronous request, so
Your voice is
in
breaking continuously.
hello.
Voice is breaking continuously.
Okay, is it better now or still breaking for you?
Yeah, okay.
Right. So have you got what is subscriber and observable, or do I have to repeat it?
Yeah. Yeah, you may repeat once again.
Okay, okay, fine. So observable and subscriber is let's take a example for understanding this. So suppose you have a TV channel or TV operator, and you are subscribed to that channel so that you can view the shows that are broadcasted on that channel, right? So in this case the TV channel provider will be a observable, and you are watching that shows, so you will be the subscriber for that, right? So whenever there is any TV show is going on to that channel, so you can watch that TV show, right? So in the entire day that on that channel you can get multiple of TV shows, right? Multiple of TV shows, ads, or something like that. So whenever there will be change, you will get that thing onto your side, right? So basically, observable and subscriber are used to handle the asynchronous request that we made to the server side, right? So as we have discussed that what is asynchronous call. So in asynchronous call, we are just calling the data, calling server for the data, and we are start working on the other things. And whenever the data server will send the data, then we are going to work on that data, right? So how we gonna know that the data has received by the server? So this is handled by the observable thing, right? So whenever there will be a data from the server, the observable will send that data to its subscribers, right? So this is how we will use that observable and subscriber thing in our asynchronous request. So that's why we have used that thing into our service, as you can see. So into the services and the dial service.ts, right? So what we have done, so suppose we have written a function for getting data from the server, right? And we have defined it as a observable, right? So whenever someone call this function, so what it will do is it is just calling our server for a get request onto this URL. So whenever there will be a data, or whenever this function will receive a data, so what it will do, as this is the observable, so it will send whatever data we have got from this request to the subscriber of this function, right? So we have written this function as observable in our ts file, and we have used this function in our component, I think dashboard component.ts, right? This get data function, right? So into this dashboard component.ts, we have written another function in which we are calling the function that we have written in our dial service. So for calling that, we have created a instance of this dial service, and then dot get data and dot subscribe, right? So in the service.ts, we have written that function as observable, and as we are using that function in our component.ts, we have subscribed that function here. So whenever there will be a response from the server onto this get data function that we have written in our service file, then it will send data to this, as we have subscribe that function here in our dashboard component.ts, and we have got that response in our x, right? So whatever data which is written by the server, it is subscribed by this function, and we have stored that data into this x, and then we have stored this x into a local variable that we have defined into this component, right? So this is how a observable and subscriber we use generally, right? So is it clear now how we have used this observable and subscriber and what is it?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Any other question so that we can cover it?
No. And hello.
Yeah, go on please.
Yes, sir. You are using payload.
Yeah, payload. Okay. So payload means payload is just a word. I've used that thing in our service.ts, right? Dial service.ts. So payload is just a word that I've used because suppose if we have to update the customer, then we have to send the data for the things or the like name, email address, or something like that, whatever fields are there. So we have to send all these things to update, right? So I have just taken this object here that we have to send to this call or this put method, right? So this is just a name that I have given to that object. This is nothing rocket science there. You can give any name to this payload thing, right? This is only the parameter, as you can see it here.
Whatever we can use.
Yeah, you can use anything, any name here. This is just a name that I have given to this object or the parameter that we have to send to update,
Okay.
right? You can give any name here, so it
Yeah.
does not matter your functionality.
Yes.
Okay, anything else?
No.
Anyone having any question? Okay, okay, fine. So let's start with the today's session. So into the today's session we are going to see how we can use JSON blob and how we can implement the get, put, post, delete methods using the JSON blob thing. So JSON blob is similar to the JSON server thing, right? So it treats our JSON file as a database, and so that we can call the data from that JSON file using the get, put, post, delete methods using the HTTP client module. So this is similar to our JSON server, but one major difference is there. So in case of JSON server, we keep that JSON file into our project directory itself, right? So it becomes a local thing, right? So if you change your machine, so you need to create that JSON file again, and then you have to run it on the JSON server thing, right? But in the case of the JSON blob, as it is hosted on the internet, so you don't have to be a machine specific for using that JSON file. So by hitting only that URL, you can get the data from that JSON file. So you don't have to keep that JSON file into your project directory itself. By just hitting that URL, you will get that JSON file into your project, right? So let's see how we can use the JSON blob thing. So uh, so just to use JSON blob, just go to the site JSON blob, just search for it and it will be appear here, right? So this is the JSON blob site where you can create your own JSON things, and you can host it over the internet as well, so that you guys can get your JSON file over the internet, right? So let's take a dummy data. I think we have it on in our assets db and db.json, right? Just copy this thing and paste that JSON into here, right? So now we have this JSON file into here, and we can see the object and the preview here, right? So just save it. So what it will do, it will just make a JSON blob. It will just make a JSON blob for you, and this will be the URL for your JSON blob. So when you will hit this URL, you will get your JSON over the internet, or you can access it from anywhere, right? So if I hit this URL, I will get my JSON blob here, right? So this will just make us a machine independent. So if you are working on different machine, you will get this JSON which you have updated here by just hitting this URL, right? So now our JSON file is hosted over the internet, right? So as I told you guys that this JSON blob is also similar to the JSON server that we are currently using. So this is also have their own APIs like get, put, post, delete. We can get the data from this JSON blob, we can post it, we can uh, update this data as well, right? So all the entire documentation for this JSON blob, they have provided it here, you can see. So if we click on this, so it will just give us the documentation that what are the different methods that are available using the JSON blob. So we can post data, means we can add the data to this JSON blob using APIs, and they have given the example as well here. So if you want to get the data from you the JSON blob, so they are also have this get request here. So you just have to provide like this will be the URL JSON blob API JSON blob and then your blob ID, right? So the blob ID will be, so if you paste your URL that we have copied, so this last thing will be your blob ID, right? So this hash thing will be your blob ID, so we just have to provide it there. Then they have put method as well, and they have a delete method as well, right? So we have gone through this all these methods in our previous session. So in the today's session I will only going to show you how we can get the data from this JSON blob thing, and I want you guys to explore the post, put and delete method for this JSON blob thing. So take this thing as a assignment for you guys, right? So I will just going to implement this get method using this JSON block thing, and you guys have to explore the things like post, put and delete. So let's start, or let's get the data by using this JSON block thing. So currently we are having this thing in our JSON block. So we have to implement a get call. So what we have to do is, it is just a matter of changing the URL, right? So currently we are having a database URL as localhost colon 3000 and slash whatever will be the key for that data, right? So we just have to change that URL by using this thing, right? So just do this, copy. I think we have to copy the thing from, so this will be the URL for your blob. So just copy this thing from here, and as you guys know that all the static URLs that we are going to use, we keep it in our environment.ts file, JSON, right? So I have put it in JSON blob URL, right? So just paste it here. And one thing we have to do, as we have to use the JSON blob APIs, so they have suggested us to make the changes like this, right? So we have to put the thing like this. So after jsonblob.com we have to append this thing, API JSON blob and then blob ID, right? So just append that thing here. So the URL will become like this, https jsonblob.com/api/jsonblob/your blob ID, right? So this will be your URL. So now what we have to do is, we have to write a function to get the data from this URL, this JSON blob, right? So let's write a function in our service, right? So go to dialservice.ts and write a function here to get the data from JSON blob, right? Right, so I have written a function to get the data from the JSON blob. So now what we have to do is, we have to write a get call here, right? As we have to get the data. So to call a get data, so whenever the anyone first of all let define this function as observable, right? Because we want it to be asynchronous. So observable of type any, right? Return. So whenever anyone will call this function, it should return a data using get request, right? So to call a get request, this dot http p dot get, right? And then we have to provide the URL, and we have defined that URL into our environment file, right? So environment dot JSON block URL, right? So what is the expected behavior of this function? So it should return a data from this JSON blob URL, and it should provide the data to the subscriber of this function, right? So just save this thing and call this function in our dashboard component, right? So for calling that function we have to write a function into dashboard component.ts, right? So write a function get JSON block data. So now what we have to do, as we have made an instance of this dial service, so we can access the function written in dial service itself. So this dot dial dot, we have written a function to get data from JSON block, right? Now we have defined this function as observable in our service. Now we want to subscribe that function, right? So we will just subscribe that function, right? We will get the data into X. You can name it, name this X anything you want. This is just a variable, and so this is how we will get the data into X. And now we have to just console dot log this thing, so it will print that data onto our console, right? So add a comment data from JSON block, right? And just print the X. So now we have written a function to get the data from the JSON block. So this function will not work until we will call that function, right? So to calling this function, we want this data to be at the time of the component loads or component initialize. So for calling that function at the component initialization, so we call that functions in our ng-on-init hook, right? So what this ng-on-init thing will do, it will execute all the functions and at the time of loading of this component, right? So whenever this component bit will get load, it will execute all these functions that are mentioned into this ng-on-init thing. Let this dot get data, get JSON block data, right? So we have just call this function. Just save this thing and let's check it on. Maybe I have not served this thing, so let's serve this thing. So till now I'll explain you guys one more thing. So this is a shorthand for declaring a function. So this is a callback function actually, right? So you can also write that function as one. So you guys can also write this function as function name X function like this, right? So what it will do, it will just, we just have to return that data. We will get the value in X, we will return X. So this is just a shorthand of writing this function like this. So this is only available in TypeScript thing. So instead of writing this function like this, so we just write that thing like this. So this is just a shorthand of writing a function. So now we are compiling our application. Right, so now our application is compiled. Let us save this thing. And just check this if we can see it on login localhost. It will be available on localhost 4200. I think we have set it as Prasad and password is 123. Okay. So now we have to check it into the console if we have got the data from that JSON blob or not. Right, so as you can see it here, so we have got the data from JSON blob, as you can see. So if we expand this, so we have two objects in our contact array and one object in our customers array, right? So if we go to the JSON blob and if we make changes here real time, right? If we have this thing, three, 1 2 3 4, now our contacts array will have four objects, right? And our customer array will consist of two array. So just save this thing. You can save it from here, and if you refresh your application, right, so if you refresh your application, you can see it here that in your contacts array you are having, now you are having four objects, and your customers array you are now having two objects. So if you change the data on real time onto your JSON blob, so you can also watch it, or this is the ultra fast thing, right? So I have made changes onto that JSON blob thing, and you are directly will get this thing changed onto your UI, right? So this is how a JSON blob works. So now currently we are not getting any data into our table, right? This is because we have not served our that db.json file over the JSON server, and we have iterated that data which we will get from the JSON server into this table. So currently we are not watching that db file, so this is empty, right? So if we have to get the data into this table, we have to just watch that db.json file. So we have put that thing in our assets thing, right? So we are into CMS, then cd source. Cd means change directory, source, then assets. In assets we have a db folder, and in db folder we are having this db.json file, right? So db folder. So in this db folder we are having this db.json file. So now we have to watch that file. So to watch that, JSON server watch and then file name db.json, sorry, it is server. So if we fire this command, so it will just watch that JSON file, and we will get that data on our web application. So if you guys are facing the same problem, just check if you are watching this db.json file from your JSON server or not. So if I refresh this thing, so we will get the data which is in our JSON server JSON file, right? So this is how we can get the data from the JSON server and JSON blob as well. So I have only taken a get method using this JSON blob thing. You just have to you guys have to explore the other methods like post, put and delete thing for the JSON blob. So this will be assignment for you. So it is just a matter of changing the URL that I have shown you into this video. So yeah, so the data that we are iterating here in this table is coming from our local db.json file that we have stored in our application, right? This is not coming from the JSON blob thing, right? So now I want you guys to iterate the data which we have got from this JSON blob thing into this table, right? So this also include this thing in your assignment as well. So I think we have covered our topic for the today's session and the introduction to JSON blob.
Prasad,
And hello,
hello.
yeah, hi, go on.
Yeah, Prasad, Rutik here.
Yes, go on please.
Yeah, that URL is accessible na? When whoever will get that URL, they can access this URL na?
Yes,
Directly.
yes.
Yeah, but if want to put the authentication for that, can we put on that?
So this is a public thing, or this JSON blob is public, so it will
Okay,
be accessible to all the other things. So till now we don't have anything for authentication for using this JSON blob, as this is a public
okay,
site. So
okay,
to add the authentication, we may need to add some server integration into this. So in which we can just encrypt this URL, this DB URL, so
yeah,
that no one
right,
can access this URL, right?
okay,
So till now this is a public URL, so whoever you will share this URL, he will be able to access that data which is present into your JSON blob.